Connor, that's about it for the news. So let's go ahead and get back to a segment we haven't done in a little while called What We've Been Playing. Connor,
fun time.
Connor, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Final Fantasy, Stranger of Paradise. Origins, I should say. Stranger of Paradise. So as you're seeing this opening cutscene, I'm just going to jump right into it.
Jump right into it, buddy.
Because the one thing I have to talk about, first of all, is the story and the characters.
Okay.
Because this opens up. It's cool cinematic. I think it's really, really cool. We'll probably see it come later on. You may want to skip later ahead because this is actually just basically cutscenes for the first 15 minutes entirely.
Okay.
And it
wait
does
till
this.
you're done.
Yeah, it does this scene. Cool battle scene. Nice. Hypes up the game. Does
Sure.
its job.
Yeah.
The next one
Get you hooked.
it does get you hooked. The other one does something similar where they drop you into the middle of a boss fight later in the game to get you acclimated with the controls. Like, okay, makes sense.
Typical
right?
stuff.
Yeah, you fight, you learn to play the game, and then these dark clouds end up through a cutscene shrouding the camera, and it goes on to the next part. It opens up to a wide shot of a golden field of straw. It looks very brilliant and nice. Right? Oh, cut.
I got
right
added.
into this.
I got added.
Skip. So you won't be able to hear it. Go back up. Go back a little bit more. Back a little bit. There we go.
Here we go.
Yes, it's even open with like a cherry blossom effect.
Okay, we're clouded
No, this
away.
is the end of that last cutscene.
This is the last of that cutscene.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
with the end of that boss fight that you're talking about. And things got
Shadows.
clouded. Okay, shadows.
nice
Yeah,
and
we're in
fancy.
it. What's happening? What's gonna
Oh, you skipped the cutscene. Damn it! What an idiot. There's a cutscene before this, opening up on the main character Jack.
He's recording directly from his PlayStation
Yeah.
5, and that scene got blocked. Okay, I see.
Yeah. And My Way by Frank Sinatra starts playing. As it zooms into him listening to My Way by Frank Sinatra, a now official Final Fantasy song, and then you get into the deeper parts of the tutorial, where it teaches you more complex things. Like more complex...
Like dodging.
Yes, like dodging. Yes, because it really just teaches you how to attack. and use
Basic
whack on things.
controls.
Exactly. Usual stuff. And the next scene is him meeting the cast members, holding
I've seen
up
this
the crystal.
cutscene.
Yes,
I've seen this cutscene.
that is right after that last one.
Yeah, this is something.
The plot is so just out there. It's not. No, I'm sorry. It's not out there. It's not written well. Let's be honest. It's from a writing standpoint. It is messy. It is not dedicated to trying to really care about the characters, give them lots of personality. One of the only exceptions, though, is Jack, who is just a force of nature. It tells you we're gonna kill chaos. That's
Okay.
the goal. That's the marketing.
We're gonna kill
And
chaos.
He is dead. He is tired of anything that does not involve him getting closer to killing chaos. He gets annoyed. He gets upset. He cuts people off. He's
Damn.
rude to people because they're not letting him kill chaos.
He gotta go kill chaos.
And that is what they do throughout the entire game with little bits of details, plot details, done through like text that you can find throughout the game. They're very hard to miss, so you could easily see them. And it gives you more, like I said, it gives you more insight into what exactly is going on. Because there's something under the surface. It's not everything is as it appears to be. It's not going to be done in a very like shocking way, I know. Where that, well, at least one that shocks me in a way that makes the story all make sense and really start impacting me. It's probably just going to confuse me further whenever it does happen. But besides that, they literally just blind through everything. They meet a new party member, they pick them up with basically little resistance whatsoever, move on, kill chaos, beat a boss fight, instant to them just like walking away. They want to go kill chaos.
We're not sticking around to talk about our feelings here, Connor.
No. Ends up making not good characters, admittedly, except for Jack, because he's what he is. But really, that sets the tone of the entire game. It hasn't really changed. The consistency of the writing has not changed. It is still all over the place, one bit to the next, not answering any questions, maybe even asking a couple more, and then just whoop, going right by.
But don't think about it.
And I'm hours in. I'm not like, I just started the game a couple days ago. I am hours in.
How deep how many hours in do you think?
Now, it's hard to judge because Japanese games, when you pause, even when you pause the game, the internal clock still goes on.
You gotta go to your PlayStation Home menu, Connor.
I do, yeah. So it's at 20 hours in game, but I know I haven't played 20 hours because I left it on one day especially long when I was
probably
busy.
closer to what, 15, 17, somewhere in there?
Yeah, that's probably more an accurate statement. But plot aside, because I'm not going to bother going more into detail than what I just did because it's convoluted, the combat system, which is the real meat of the game, is fantastic. It is a really solid combat system. Yeah, you might want to go ahead. And
Yeah, let me
fast
find
forward.
some for you.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Give us the breakdown.
Now, I had known about the kind of how it was originally going to be, where you have access to a number of classes that are all relegated to a certain weapon that you find throughout the game. The battle axe, the great sword, the daggers, the mace
Hold
and
on,
shield.
He's about to pull up the skill tree here.
No, this is
Oh,
this
none
is
of
a
that?
little bit
Okay,
later.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
then
little
keep
bit
going,
later.
keep going.
Yeah, I guess he could have pulled up the skill tree. I didn't see it happening yet. But anyway, all these different weapons that are associated with different classes, starting classes: swordsman, marauder, mage, monk, where you can punch people.
Nice.
That's how the classes start. But as you go through the tree system, you at the very end of it unlock
Job trees. They're
Yes,
called jobs,
trees.
these different classes?
Yes, jobs, as they've always been in Final Fantasy. But when you get to the bottom, I don't know if you'll scroll to it.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. More classes will unlock, advanced classes.
Subclasses.
And when you go into those, whole other skill tree that
yeah?
once again go into other jobs. One more, and then that's the final job that
Yeah.
you can get to. But
I like how this sounds.
it's very good. And
It
the
sounds
cool thing,
satisfying, like in progression ways.
and it really is, and in the diversity of gameplay, because you have to play the other classes to level them up. And as you get to advanced classes, like for example, the Berserker, it says that you need to get to the Berserker class on the Swordsman job tree, but also the Marauder job tree to get down to that to actually unlock that class, and then go forth and do the same thing. And once you reach the bottom of that skill tree, it's like, okay, you have to unlock this other one to do this advanced expert
Now
class, as they
let
call
me
it.
pause you right here. This is not an open world game.
No,
correct?
no, it's mission.
Okay, so you kind of have to plan where you're gonna go in the skill tree before you even like really like start placing your upgrades. Because unless is there easy like respec options going on?
See, that's the cool thing, because the issue that easily could have arisen was that, you have so many classes, and to unlock more of them, you have to play a bunch of different classes, sometimes even 3 for the expert classes, usually just 2 for the advanced one, only 2 for all the advanced ones, but with the exception of 1. Getting back on track, where are my thoughts, collect them. The way the skill tree works is that as you go down, the numbers that are required to unlock those skill points get higher, to the point where the final one can be at 8 skill points.
Typical point.
Yeah,
Shit.
Which you get 1 level for each time you level up the job, which happens relatively quick.
This skill costs 1. The next one costs
Yes.
2. The next one costs 3. Okay.
Yeah, so along those lines. Now, to speed up progression, because there is a lot of jobs, which, like I said, fists, magic, great swords, daggers, sword and shield, everyone feels different and unique to play and is extremely fun. But you're only delegated to, like I said, that one weapon associated with that one class. Now, and you unlock more in advanced classes. So when you're going down to the skill tree, like I said, it can be 8 at the very end, right? But if you go to the next notch down that costs 1 point, it'll decrease the amount of points that are needed to get to that final area. Now, that's very important, because so let's say that I unlock a couple skill trees, and now I need 5 points. The amount that it would cost to unlock that advanced class is now 5 points. Well, if I get 5 points when I'm leveling up, I could use those 5 points to go right directly to unlock the advanced class, and unlocking all the abilities that are in its wake, and skill trees in its wake. So if you hoard your points rather than going for each and every single individual one, you can just go and get done with a whole skill tree very quickly. It becomes more difficult.
I'm sorry. So does that mean specific skill tree costs, or specific skill point costs 5?
Yeah.
There are ones required before it, but you haven't unlocked those because you've been hoarding your points or you've been focusing on other trees. Does that, if it's 5 and then the ones before it are 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Do you need the points for 4, 3, 2, 1?
No. You get.
Oh, you just jump 5 and it just comes you right down.
If the class that if the thing you're trying to unlock, and this doesn't just apply to the classes, it's every single module on the skill tree. If it costs 3 and there's one before it that says 2, if you have 3 points, it'll unlock the one that costs 2 and the one that costs 3 with just 3 points. And that's really important, because, like I said, the skill trees are extensive.
Yeah.
They're not exactly like little 5 points and then you're done.
Some webbing.
Yes, it's webbing, but it's efficient webbing to where you're getting as much of the game as possible, as quickly as possible, but still at a rate of progression that doesn't get it all to you too quickly. Like, I'm still pretty far into unlocking jobs, which is why I think I'm a little bit far off.
Is there a respec option?
No. There's not really a need for respecking.
Not one that you've seen. Oh, okay,
no, there's not really a need for it.
Okay.
Because you can unlock every single skill point on the skill trees. Because
So I'm sorry. So like, how do you get these points? You get it by playing in that job.
Class. Yes, but you can also put on equipment that has affinity with other classes. So, for example, I can be playing, as I said before, Berserker. But I'm like, the Ronin, one of the starter classes, I don't want to play that class to unlock, maybe another job on that tree. But I can have, if I have equipment that has, it'll say on the side, like affinity with the Ronin class, 14%, 15%, even upwards of 39%. A little bit of progression, depending on how high that affinity score is, will level up that other class slowly, but it's still at a rate to where, maybe if you just constantly did that for equipment, this actually I need to explain first. Almost forgot. You can have access to 2 jobs at the same time that's switchable with triangle during combat. In fact, even when you're doing certain skills, because each class and weapons have certain skills associated with them, you can change in the middle of that for fast job change.
I'm seeing a lot of like. There's a lot of empty space here in this UI right here. Re-unlocking more classes eventually.
Oh, there's tons of jobs.
No, I mean like off the hotkey re-unlock it. Like we start with 2, and then as we get 20 hours deep, we start getting 3, 4, 5.
So right up there, that's the level of affinity that you have on your equipment. So for example, swordsman right there, 55%.
Okay,
yeah, that's what those are.
Yeah.
That means it's going to be easier, especially since you're playing it, to upgrade the swordsman job tree.
Gotcha.
The other one's
this
duelist.
is the equipment he has equipped are building towards these classes.
Yes.
And then these are the percentages of how the classes.
Yes, and then that determines how quickly you're going to be able to unlock skill trees in those other classes. Very complex system. It took a little bit for me to like work out the menu because it's not explained super well.
Okay.
But it's enough. They leave you enough to where even though I was frustrated at first finding how everything worked, it clicked. I was like, okay, I can just cycle through this stuff really quickly.
Well, even how I'm reading it right now, just with experience of just gaming and stuff, like this looks like you can figure this out.
Yeah,
it's
you can
not
figure
like
it out.
it's not like The Witcher 2 where that menu is a fucking mess. Like,
No.
clearly we're on the equipment sub screen of weapons. Like, okay, and then here's the different weapon types.
A lot of my real issues came with armor because you can make presets for it. Now, each of your classes, when you switch to them to triangle, can have different equipment on them. So you can easily have 2 pairs of different equipments of armor on and whatnot.
Spending a lot of time in menus, then, are you?
Yeah, but you can also level up some of these things as well, so you're not constantly doing that because you get loot at a very high rate, which you can then just break down at the smithy to use to upgrade other pre-existing weapons, which I haven't spent a lot of time in, like I said, because I kind of just go for whatever the highest level equipment is onto my character and put Jack with the best stuff. And ones that have affinity relating to what my job is at that time to maximize the way that I want to play. And with everyone else, I kind of just cycle through pretty much the same way. So I do spend a lot of times in menus, which is one of the criticisms of it.
Is it only Jack who has this level of detail? Everyone else is like set in stone?
Oh, yeah. They have access to one class at the beginning. As the story progresses, they get access to other ones, but just one other one in the advanced class, and then one other one in the expert class, which you can switch to in the battle settings.
But it's all centered around their primary class?
Yeah, so you only have to have one armor set for them. It's only Jack that has different ones to allow for you to have different affinity on different armors.
It sounds like how Mass Effect Andromeda should have done it.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like to me. Because you remember you could use abilities from whatever class and so forth, but it just kind of meant that like you just found the 2-3 abilities that worked well together and used them all and became an overpowered like this sounds like a level of progression that if the next Mass Effect wants to go that route, they should take notes.
It's a good combat system. It's a good skill tree system. I can sit here explaining
talk to me about combat here. So I'm seeing a lot. I saw a lot of what looked like a version of what we saw in Final Fantasy VII Remake and 15 and so forth. Stagger bars, is this like the typical stuff going on? Or?
Yeah. So down there you see that's your MP. Now, we're
talking these purple meters
purple
right here.
lines, and above that is health, obviously.
Health, of course.
Each weapon, and you unlock so the cool thing is, going back to the skill tree real quick, if, for example, one of them, let's say the swordsman class, when you go through the job tree in the swordsman class, it'll say, hey, this sword ability is unlocked, and you activate it with R2 when you're going through main combat. So you use your skills that you gain by just pressing R2, and you can have them set to certain combo pieces. So for example, it'll be like R1, 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 and then your R2 ability, which will be different than your R1, R1, R2 ability, which could be something different. So you do
So abilities are set to combos, not to like a specific hotkey.
no, because you mix it in with regular attacking
Okay,
to just maximize your damage output.
gotcha.
And like I said before, when you use those R2 skills, if you press triangle right away, it'll switch to the other job class with very little time in between. So you
Is
can
this a
constantly
way
keep
in which
fighting.
we can kind of get out of the quasi ATB system of 7 remakes? So instead of digging through menus to get to your abilities, you're just putting in these types of combo type things.
Yeah. Now, granted, you don't have access to much. You don't have access to all of them at any time because you have to select them when you're customizing your character, which you could do at a moment's notice whenever you want, even outside of save points.
Now the MP bars are segmented. Do these build up like ATB bars did in that game, or is it like more just on a time basis, or like energy gained by defeating enemies? How's that work?
That's actually really cool because the whole power of Jack is he's able to crystallize enemies and break them. Now, when he does that, you have to get their stagger bar down, which is the bar below enemy's health. You also have your own and can get staggered additionally. But when you stagger the enemies, you press circle and you do a soul burst, where you do some cool animation and crack them into crystal. When you do that, your MP bar grows, because when you start out a mission, it's only at 2. And then a little bit of it grows each time you do that to where you can get up to that level.
I see. Yeah.
Parrying also does the same exact thing, where if you parry at a right time, it'll fill up that bar and allow you to do a counterattack very quickly. So that's how you upgrade that bar. And that's every single one of those bars usually consumes one R2 skill.
Boy, this game does not look pretty.
It doesn't. Level design's not too fantastic either.
This is some early PlayStation 3 stuff.
It is combat. It is what defines the game when you're in like any kind of open world setting, not open world setting. When you're in any non-pre-rendered cutscenes, the game looks atrocious. Voice lines aren't matched up properly. They are in the cinematics, which is a bulk of what you see in the game.
Okay.
So it's almost never really an issue besides the first couple hours of the game.
But the in-game stuff, what is it like synced up to like Japanese lips, or
That or just bad.
or they just kind of just didn't care?
Ladders. Beyond me. It is beyond me. Ladders. See? How do you use ladders? That's how you use ladders.
Yeah, that's it.
But
yeah, bring up a whole menu for that.
No. The cool thing is, though, additionally to that MP bar conversation, when you die, bars go away.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah, and any equipment that you had gained throughout that mission when you die stays. Any progression stays. Everything stays. So it's almost like a roguelike in that situation.
Do you have to start the mission over when you die?
At the last save point that you were at, whatever that might have been. And
But you
automatically
kept any equipment.
Yes, progression.
So any like items you use are also gone?
Well, there's not really item use. You have health potions, 5 of them, that you can regenerate through going to cubes, and you can sometimes find them around the map, but not really that often.
They work kind of like how like a Sekiro health.
Yeah,
thing
they're like
works.
Souls
Okay.
games. Yeah, more similar to that. But there's not really item use. The closest thing is command abilities, which you can activate using MP, but they're not items, and they don't. Your ATB replenishes however much bars you've unlocked when you just go to a cube.
A lot of systems.
Yeah, that's why it was kind of complicated and complicated to navigate the systems in the first place. But it clicks, and now I'm just like, I spend a lot of time in the menu, but it's really just because I'm really particular with everything being up to date a lot of the time. I actually go through and I'm like, I go through it quickly on my hands. So I'm able to do it.
I love how
quickly.
much of this review is just you making noises.
Yeah. Yeah, but the combat, you run around, you hit things, like I said, and you integrate your combo pieces with it. And it's very, very fun and very diverse. The diversity is really what sells it, because you're constantly using different weapons, because it's kind of what it recommends you do to unlock as many classes as possible. Combat, it feels really good and looks complicated, as you probably can tell from all these systems it's explaining. And
we've got stick inputs, we've got button inputs.
Yeah, they're very minimal, and they're the same across. And sometimes they're not even as extensive. It depends on the weapon you're using. Like the axe doesn't really have much besides just charging your attacks, your light attacks.
Gotcha.
But every single weapon also does play differently. They do. They don't have the same exact movement options as they do always. So leads to fun
This game
combat.
looks fun to play.
It is. I am itching always to go back to it, just because I have so much fun with the gameplay. It is
That's dope.
some of the best gunplay I've had this year. Really, really fantastic.
It's just that the package that gameplay is in is not phenomenal.
No, but fun. It is
But
fun.
it's
So
fun.
you're not there just like, I'm bored. You're there having a fun time. It's a fun
the opposite
game to
of
play.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, yes, actually, yes, literally the exact opposite.
Which I would rather be here than there.
And
like,
this, I would too.
Yeah.
Admittedly,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is definitely a better game than Guardians of the Galaxy with that similarity in mind.
yeah.
Man, the armor looks ridiculous at some points. It's
Oh,
got,
God, I hate that.
it's funny. It is so funny.
Yeah, just from a design perspective, this does not look good. Like to look at. Like just none of it looks good to look
They
at. This
focused
is
on combat.
no. This is all an eyesore. All of this is an eyesore. Jesus Christ!
some of the
Why is
outfits
he in
look cool.
jeans and a fucking Henley, and then our main dude's in combat armor?
That's the beginning armor, but then it gets ridiculous when you unlock it.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, you don't. The stuff you get in the game is not generic looking by any means. Say that much.
Gosh, yeah, this combat looks fun as fuck.
Yeah, it's extremely fun. It's a great game. I'm enjoying a lot of it. It can get difficult, especially now that I put it on hard.
Well, I wish I had done this a month ago when our down period had started.
Yeah.
I wish I had jumped in, but now I can't because I'm playing all these other games right now that I want to continue playing until there's the Fire Emblem game is coming out soon, and I want to play that, or I want to try that. I've downloaded the demo. But then it's Stray, so now I'm kind of upset that I don't have time right now to come visit this.
Yeah, which is a shame because it is a good game. If you ever have any time to play a game,
Yeah.
it's one I would recommend.
Yeah, if we find some time, again.
Yeah,
Okay. Overall, you're enjoying it. You're going to continue your
I will beat it undoubtedly.
You're going to play it. You're going to beat it. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I maybe even beat it next week. Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Well, Connor, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
All right.